Donald Trump's pledge ahead of the Alaska summit is an unambiguous and it seems to be non-conditional. He will not strike a peace deal with Vladimir Putin over Ukraine without Zelensky at the table. That's what he's just said. And this assurance, delivered on Fox News Radio, reinforced in Oval Office remarks, comes as European leaders in Kyiv have mounted an urgent diplomatic campaign to stop any back-channel arrangement between Moscow and Washington that could divvy up Ukraine without its consent. Trump's language was telling. He almost used the phrase divvy things up before quickly qualifying it, aware of the political minefield such talk represents. The reassurance was clear. The second decisive meeting, the one intended to produce a deal, will include Zelensky. European capitals have been deeply uneasy about Trump's preference for one-on-one meetings with Putin. Fiona Hill, his former Russian advisor, called it a strategic gift to Moscow. In the absence of advisors and note-takers, Putin gains room to charm, flatter and subtly extract concessions. To counter this, Emmanuel Macron, Merz and Keir Starmer have all secured Trump's agreement that Ukraine's president must be involved in the serious stage. They've also coordinated red lines, no ceding territory, security guarantees that must be in place before a ceasefire, and Moscow must have no veto over Ukraine's NATO ambitions. For now, Trump has publicly embraced these positions, but as past experience shows, public statements before a meeting are not always the same as private concessions made behind closed doors. The Alaska summit comes at a moment when Russian forces have made their most rapid advance in over a year, 15 kilometers, in days near Dobrofilia in Donetsk, and while Ukrainian commanders insist the front has stabilized, the breakthrough risks putting the fortress city of Kramatorsk in jeopardy. Putin's tactic is obvious: create the impression of momentum before sitting down with Trump. And this was exactly the Kremlin playbook in 2014 and 2015, when battlefield gains were leveraged into the Minsk agreements, settlements that left Ukraine vulnerable and Russia entrenched. And people on YouTube keep talking about, why is Zelensky not following the Minsk agreement? Because the Minsk agreement was devised practically at gunpoint. For Kyiv, the fear is history repeating itself, but with the stakes far higher. Zelensky enters this diplomatic test weakened at home. His attempt to bring Ukraine's independent anti-corruption agencies under presidential control triggered the first street protests since the war began, forcing a humiliating reversal and damaging his reformist credentials. Public trust in him has dropped from 65% to 58% in recent polls. Parliament, once pliant, is now more independent, making it far harder to pass any deal that even smells of territorial concessions. This means that even if Trump and Putin agreed terms in Alaska and a follow-up meeting, Zelensky might be unable to secure ratification in Kyiv. That reality is written into Ukraine's constitution. No president can legally surrender territory. Trump has already suspended weapons shipments twice this year to pressure Kyiv, and his frustration with Zelensky's insistence on constitutional approval for land swaps shows a misunderstanding, a misreading of Ukrainian law and domestic politics. From Trump's perspective, this is a straightforward transactional negotiation. From Zelensky's, it's existential and bound by legal, political and military constraints. If Trump decides that Zelensky is the problem, as some US officials fear, Zelensky could face a sudden loss of US support, something Europe cannot quite replace. The best case for Kyiv is that Alaska produces only a framework with a second meeting including Zelensky and possibly European leaders, leading to a temporary ceasefire and robust security guarantees. The worst case is that Trump and Putin agree in principle on concessions and Kyiv is pressured to accept them or risk losing US backing. The no deal, where talks stall and Trump blames Putin, sanctions tighten and the war continues on current terms, well, that's an interesting angle. Given Trump's own 25% estimate of failure, all three remain live possibilities. Trump's public pledge not to make a deal without Zelensky is now important. It gives Kyiv and Russia and Europe a shield against the worst-case diplomatic ambush, but it's only as strong as Trump's will to uphold it when faced with Putin's personal pitch, a lot of alliteration there, and lure of an historic quick fix. Alaska will not end the war, but it may set the tone and the terms for the real negotiations to come. For Ukraine, the test and the task is to ensure those terms are not written in Moscow before they can be defended in Kyiv.